Very good. Your Eminence, you know, Mary, Mother of the Church, and you had a chapter in here on church. Maybe you'd explain that chapter in your book on church.
Yes, there is very much in common between them. In one sense, Mary is the mother of, on the one hand, Mary is the mother of Christ, and Mary is closely united with Christ. Mary is mother and she is virgin at the same time. The church, in a figurative sense, is mother and virgin. Real, even though say figurative, mother, because through the church we get spiritual life, faith and baptism, and therefore we get Christ. By faith and baptism, as through a door, we enter the church, and we get Christ in the church. The church is also virgin in the mystical sense, because the church is always faithful to Christ, and is the spouse of Christ, and is not dedicated to anyone else except Christ. The church, in another sense, even every individual is meant, every baptized person is meant to be, in a mystical sense, the spouse of Christ too, because every individual is meant to be faithful to Christ, to be obedient to Christ. The church is the society of all the baptized who have Christ as their head, the new people of God, called sometimes in Holy Scripture by various names, figures, because it's human language, which is lame. It cannot express the whole reality, but we must speak. The church is called the family of God, the sheepfold of which Christ is the shepherd, the building, the field which God cultivates. All those are figures of speech to help us to understand. The new people of God, it's those that Christ has gathered to his Father. Of that church, so related with Christ that he calls us his brothers, Mary is mother. Because even if Christ hadn't said on Mount Calvary to John, behold your mother, Mary would still be our mother, because by baptism we become like Christ, Christians, and therefore children of Mary. It isn't even we who choose Mary as our mother. She's just there as our mother, even if we do not realize it, even if we are just babies baptized. Mary is already the mother of that baby before the baby realizes it, much as babies in this world have a mother before they realize. And if a baby will not recognize the mother, he is not a good child. So we also, when we recognize the Blessed Virgin Mary and honor her, it is not we who make her great. It is God who first made her great. And we only have to recognize that. Those who think the Blessed Virgin Mary is not great, let them please take up Holy Scripture and read. Could they at least read Luke chapter 1 and chapter 2? And after that, we can talk again. Can they at least read St. John's Gospel, chapter 1, on the Son of Mary? In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That's it. And can they read chapter 2, when Mary said to those who were serving at the marriage feast of Cana, whatever he shall say to you, you do. And she went and sat down. And we know what happened.
Right. She didn't argue.
No. There was no need. She knew her son too well for that.
Right.
And that's really enough.
Your Excellency, maybe you'd like to elaborate more.
Yeah. Mary is the mother of the individual Christ, it's true. And she is the mother of the whole Christ, which incorporates the whole of mankind, the believers. And at the Pentecost, that was the time when the church was born. And Mother Mary was presiding over the assembly. Already then also, she was given the second role of being the mother of the whole Christ. First, at the Annunciation, became the mother of the individual Christ, the Son of God. Here, she's the mother of the whole church.
The whole church.
Whole Christ. So we can't escape it. If you want to be with Christ, identify with Christ, we can't escape being the son of Mary, children of Mary. That is why Mary's role is indispensable in our salvation.
One thing that always was remarkable, Your Eminence, stunned me when we lived in Fatima, Portugal for 2 years, and then finding out that Fatima was the daughter of Muhammad, and a princess, and our Blessed Mother chooses to come down in Portugal in a town that's named after Muhammad's daughter, and the Blessed Virgin Mary is honored by the Muslims, isn't she?
Yes. Many Christians will be surprised to know that the Blessed Virgin Mary is the only woman named by name in the Quran. And she is named 34 times in the Quran. And she is named expressly 19 times in our Bible.
Isn't that something?
And 34 times in the Quran. The Quran always has beautiful things to say about the Blessed Virgin Mary.
And they call her virgin, don't they?
Oh yes, they believe she's always virgin, always holy, obedient to God, always. Indeed, some Christians will be shocked to find that while they themselves are disputing points on the Blessed Virgin Mary, the Muslims already accept those points. Not every point.
Right.
For instance, the Muslims do not accept that Christ is God.
Right.
And therefore, they do not accept that the Blessed Virgin Mary is Mother of God, which is the major point.
Right.
That's right.
So I am not suggesting that their faith now gives her more esteem. No. But at least the much that the Quran does say is good of the Blessed Virgin Mary. It doesn't say all. And it doesn't say the most important thing that can be said about her. But that much that is said. And the daughter of Muhammad was Fatima.
Yes.
And many Muslims, you know, pray to the Blessed Virgin Mary.
Isn't it something that? So really, our Blessed Mother could be the bridge between these two great religions. The Muslim is the largest non-Christian religion, isn't it?
Yes. She could. And maybe a mother has a way of reconciling.
That is the Eminence's role, actually. Yes. Prefer the interreligious.
Interreligious dialogue.
Yes. And God knows we need a mother. A child is not all right when the child has no mother. Not good.
That's right.
So it isn't we who arranged this mother. God arranged it.
That's right. And there's a groundswell, I'm finding, in working with Christians of other traditions, particularly evangelicals, of beginning to understand the role of Mary and a real hunger. I know in my own personal life, in discovering a little book by Cardinal Newman called The Second Eve, which is kind of compiles the earliest writings of the Fathers on Mary and the whole mystery of Mary. That began to open my eyes of faith. And I think with a lot of evangelical Christians these days, there's a growing interest in Mary, which is leading to an appreciation of Mary. And there's an open door. There's a wonderful evangelical woman author who'll be coming out with a book very soon on Mary. Yes. I think that's encouraging, that they're reaching out to try to understand and find their mother as well, because you're so right. She's the mother of the new creation. She's the second Eve. And she's the mother of all Christians, whether they acknowledge it or not. Her maternity doesn't depend on our acknowledgement.